Good evening, Simon here, Explosive Action, and I am back for another video. This time we're going to take a look at my top 10 metal album covers, so let's get into it. So this is a response video to Andy Cloudy Martyr. He did a video called Top 10 Hard Rock and Metal Album Covers That Are Not Iron Maiden. I thought I'd do my version of that, and I'm going to make two slight changes to it. Not really. One, not Iron Maiden. That's easy. I don't own any. Don't shoot me, I just don't own any Iron Maiden. So that's easy to check that one off. And two, there's no hard rock here. Not a hard rock guy, I'm a metal guy. This is all metal, it's all mostly extreme metal. So we're going to take a look at all that. In the background, we're listening to something that has excellent album cover artwork as well. This is the new Infested demo. This is called Grotesque Remains. Artwork here is by Kyle Messick. He's been doing lots of modern death metal band artwork, the Coagulate stuff, Slime Lord, whole bunch of bands in the last couple of years. He's been quite prolific in the last 2-3 years. This is really good demo out on Extremely Rotten Productions. New US band, really good stuff, solid, chunky, sometimes brutal death metal, very good. Also wanted to show off one of my favorite modern covers. Everything else I'm going to be showing is stuff I grew up with, it's vintage stuff, it's classic stuff, but I wanted to call out one particular excellent modern artwork. My god, this is the Coffin Mulch artwork for the Septic Funeral EP. This is done by Adam Burke. He's doing the new Altars. I mean, we have a new Altars album, but yes, he did the artwork there. He's done Gatecreeper stuff, Nucleus, lots and lots of bands, but man, look at this thing. You've got massive, like, zombie decaying skeleton, blood pouring out of its mouth, all its bits coming out, it's stabbing itself with a sword. We're in hell or something. It's just outstanding. I absolutely love this cover, so I had to mention this one from Coffin Mulch. Also wanted to chuck in a few also ran stuff that is, I'll just say, so bad it's good. Like, I love this stuff, unironically, but I acknowledge that it's not brilliant. But anyway, Attacker, Battle at Helm's Deep. Look at this thing. I friggin' love this cover. Hand drawn. I mean, the stuff that they did, they reissued this thing, and it's got some baloney Photoshop garbage. This is the real deal. You've got your cartoon giant, I don't know what it is. It's not a demon dragon. I don't know what it is. It looks some kind of Dungeons and Dragons thing. You got a guy here with his muscle bound. He looks scared as hell. He's got his big sword. You got a wizard kind of creepy thing over the back. Like, the whole thing looks like it's come out of some late 80s 16-bit Dungeons and Dragons game. Like, it's just fantastic. I love this thing. It's in a, big old castle. It's like Dungeon Master stuff. Love it. Attacker. This one is just, I don't know why it exists, why this happened. Devastrol with a Neuropathologue. It's got Freddy Krueger on the cover. They just done a square Freddy Krueger, chucked him there over, like, the photo of, like, it's upside down. I think it's upside down. Like it's some kind of roof, bits and pieces over a falling down wall. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then the garish green and red logo. Just the gall of them to use this as the cover artwork. I've got to mention it. Devastrol, so good. Get some Australia into us. This is an absolute classic cover. They reissued it. I don't know, they must have been embarrassed, or they wanted to do the same theme, but, instead of a 6-year-old doing it, but, whatever. This is Oscar Kilo. He did this thing. Mortal Sins, Mayhemic Destruction. I love this. I absolutely love it. It is crude and amateur. It's the kind of thing your 80s very first album, bunch of kids doing a thrash band. This is the kind of cover they should have, and they got it. It's absolutely amazing. You got the harbour bridge down there, the entire of the bay being destroyed, opera houses being stepped in. It's fantastic. Mortal Sin, Mayhemic Destruction. That's from Oscar Kilo. He's got his name down there in the corner, so very, very fun. And the last of my, it's not great, but I love it artworks. Whiplash, Power and Pain. It is so brilliantly bad. I love the big, like, the whole thing is clearly like, like a year 7's art project with this, like, cracked, electrifying background. The logo is just thrown on there really quickly, and this squishing head I love it. I absolutely love it. And the detail that's been put into like all the parts of the skin and the muscle there by Taggart, the artist Taggart in 1985. I mean, props to you, Taggart. I think this is actually good fun. You've got a big cybernetic hand that's crushing him. It's great. Power and pain. Whiplash. I love it. On to the actual top 10. This is, of course, just my top 10. If I did this tomorrow, it would probably be a different top 10. I could easily pick a top 100. But I wanted to just really channel things that I always think of when it comes to my favorite artworks by bands. There's a bit of story behind some of them, like that I got into the band because I saw the artwork. That happened on a great deal of these. You know, that's a great cover and I bought it because of that. Pretty much the majority of these was that, I think. So that's sort of why I picked these ones. And we'll just start off with one of my favorite albums of all time. And it's not a brilliant piece of amazing artwork. It's just, I love this artwork. This is Abigail Verwestung, Invoke the Dark Age. I'll take all of the CDs out so you can see the cover a bit better. And I can't even find an artist for this. I'm pretty sure the band has just assembled this themselves. But I love everything that's going on here. You've got their iconic logo. You've got, I'm not too sure who it is there in the background, one of the guys from the band. Flames leaping up in front of the forest shot. And you've got this sigil just imprinted on the top. It's great. And that classic black metal font, the Germanic font with the, you know, the flourish around it. So many bands have been putting this kind of flourish borders these days, but here it is with the logo of the font. I think it's fantastic. It's always just screamed to me 90s black metal. I love it. Sure, every other artwork they've done since is technically better. I mean, the next time, and I think it's how you say it, the Opus 4 artwork, Supreme Immortal Art, is all arguably a lot better. But this is one of my favorites. This is my favorite Abigail cover. The original edition was actually black and white, so not sure why they did black and white then a color one, but I've always had the color. So there you go. Abigail Verwestung, artist unknown, but probably assembled by the band. Next one's one of the first Australian bands I ever bought back in, I think it was 1996, and I bought it because of the cover artwork. It was absolutely outstanding. This is Bremelin's self-titled, just absolutely astounding artwork. Again, I'll pull it out so you can see it. There it is there. It looks like a classical piece that's been doctored. Hard to say. The archives list this as worked on by Sally Moore. I don't think it's something that she's done, or he. Look, this is interesting. It's Sally Moore. The archives says it's male. I don't know, whatever. But Sally, I think it's assembling different pieces to make this work. There's like a statue or something here. Is tearing itself apart. You can see the guts, and the hand has obviously been like they've done something to the hand to make it on fire. The background here, you've got these sort of ghostly like gods, like cloud of gods that are all just swarming in the background. It doesn't even make a great deal of sense, but the colouring with the logo, is dominated by the orange and the yellow. I think it just looks fantastic. It is iconic stuff for me. I've always loved this. It's why I bought it, because I saw that cover and went, that is so death metal, I've got to buy that. And I love it. So there you go. A Bremelin's self-titled album. I knew I was going to include this one. As soon as I saw this list, I'm like, this is going straight in there. Has to happen. No thinking about this one, because it is absolutely amazing. This is Cannibal Corpse beaten back to life. Vincent Locke artwork. He's pretty much done every single album cover for this band. Pretty sure he didn't miss any. Could be wrong, but I think he's done all of them. So Vincent Locke is a comic book artist and a graphic novel designer, and started doing all these zombie covers for Cannibal Corpse. If you look at his other albums that he's done, there's not a great deal. I don't think there was any. Maybe there was only one or two, but he's pretty much Cannibal Corpse. He's the Cannibal Corpse guy. Yeah, I think this is such an iconic album cover. It's kind of cartoony. You've got the zombie eating his own flesh off his finger there. All his ribs and his bits are just all falling out. Got the graveyard shot, and I love that he's wearing like these blue denim jeans. Gives it a thrash feeling to it, like he's this thrasher that's just tearing himself apart. And all the gravestones are just falling apart. You can see these other zombie bits and pieces. It's fantastic. This is so good. You've got like a kidney up here. It's just thrown, just kidneys just gone for a fly. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. My favourite Cannibal Corpse artwork by far. Of course, they got more and more offensive for a while there, but you know, this is the iconic one for me. Eaten back to life. The next is another one that I knew I was going to be including in this list because it's always been one of my favourite pieces of art. And I know it's not a hand-drawn thing that's been painted and spent ages. It's something that's been assembled, but it's always just struck a chord with me. That is Carcass Tools of the Trade. And you know why? That Tools emblem, that symbol that they've ended up using multiple times, the Surgical Steel album cover is essentially the same thing. Is always struck a chord with me. So we'll just take it out, have a bit of a closer look. So what you have here, you get these purple tools, all the medical instruments. You turn it around, you can see all the different instruments. And they're on a background that you can't quite work out what it is, but the colouring, the purple and the reds, it just all goes together really well. It's not the first time that they've used it. In fact, if you go back to Necroticism, take a look. The tools first appeared on the CD itself. So there's the tools, and apparently this was put together by band's management. The manager just decided, here's something we can do, put some tools together. And then you can see here, this is the background of the Tools EP. So there you go, you can see it's the same thing, it's just overlaid it on top. So yeah, it's a very simple but pretty iconic piece of art, and they've just used it over and over again. So there you go, Tools of the Trade by Carcass, classic stuff. The next one is a beauty of hand-painted artwork. I knew this was going to be included. Oh, it's so good. This is Demolition Hammer, Tortured Existence. My God, look at this thing. His face is just, it's like he's being boiled in a flaming vat of oil or something. It's just melting away. He can feel it. He knows it's happening. He's having a bad day. This is some Axel Hermann artwork, a German guy. He's done a truckload of stuff. He did pretty much all of Asphyx's artwork, Grave, Into the Grave, Unleash, his first album, Samael Blood Rituals, another one of his. So many album covers, but this is probably my favourite one. Demolition Hammer, Tortured Existence. I mean, what is there to not like about this? It screams metal. It's, you know, the band itself, this album is, it's bordering thrash and death metal. It's just extreme thrash or fast and almost there death metal. Death thrash to a T. It's like the definition of death thrash. And this cover, it's just absolutely godly. I've just noticed as well in the eyes, you can see reflection of whoever's doing this to this guy. Never noticed that before until I got up this close to it. In the detail, even his eyebrows are still there. It's fantastic. Absolutely love this art. This is just amazing. Drooling fire out of his mouth. Tortured Existence, Demolition Hammer. There was no way this list was going to happen, and this was not going to be included. How could you do a top 10 list without some Dan Seagrave? You can't, is the answer. Dismember, Like an Ever-Flowing Stream. One of my favourite albums of all time, and it's also my favourite Seagrave artwork by far. He's got a lot to choose from, but man, I love the symmetry he uses in a lot of his artwork. This is a great example of it. I mean, it's essentially mirrored left and right. The colouring, everything here is just fantastic. You've got this, you know, these skeleton demon things that are like waterfalls. It's the ever-flowing stream. It's coming in there. You can see the mountains beyond the wall all coming through here. And it's all feeding, this water is feeding into, it looks like flames, but I think it's the flames are like, you know, reflecting on the water. I'm not too sure. It's just an amazing, you know, ever-flowing stream of what's going on here. And if you look in here, you get close, you can see there's all these like snakes and worms and all kinds of hideous things down there. So completely demonic stuff. Obviously, Dan Seagrave's done like Benedictions, Transcend the Rubicon, Carnage, Dark Recollections, Entombed Left Hand Path, Gorguts, Considered Dead, Monstrosity, Imperial Doom. Like, the list is just continuous. There's a reason he's one of, like, you speak of Dan Seagrave and you're essentially talking about death metal. It's 1 and 2. They're the same thing. I don't know if he's done anything that's not death metal or at least very extreme thrash. Dismember, Like an Ever-Flowing Stream, absolutely amazing artwork. This is the kind of artwork that really struck me when I was young, when I was just getting into metal, finding my own way, getting past the Metallicas and the Panteras and starting to find my own bands without the help of anybody else, just seeing artwork and going, that's cool, I'll give it a go. This is one of those. And this is my original CD. It's hanging on with a wing and a prayer. Dust and a sheer will to live is hanging this thing together. Fear Factory to manufacture. Always loved this combination of man and machine. That's exactly what's going on here. This is Dave McKean artwork. He's done Machine Head's Burn My Eyes, which is also really cool artwork. My Dying Bride as the flower withers, which is surprising when I looked that up. Testament's Low, Demonic, and Gathering. You can see that kind of artwork all matches together, but this thing just stands out. It doesn't resemble anything else that I can see in his artwork. Everything else has got a bit of a style to it, but this thing just stands out. He's done a few other Fear Factories as well, like he did Obsolete, but I've always loved this. The biomechanical, it's like a metal, pieces of rusty metal making a barcode, obviously, and then you've got the bones down here that are breaking away. I've always loved this cover artwork. It's what got me into the band. I just saw that and went, Fear Factory, wow, that's an amazing cover, and then I bought it. Of course, and it still holds up for me. You know, it's one of them youth albums. I'm not sure if everybody could get into it now, if they were of my age and hadn't heard it when they were young. Maybe not, might not work for you, but this album cover, absolutely classic. This is another one from my youth, pretty quickly after Fear Factory. When I saw this album cover on the shops, I knew who the band was because I had heard one song before on Triple J, which is, I still find that amusing that I could hear this on commercial radio. But the cover artwork, it spoke to 16-year-old me. You know, I'm rebelling and I'm, you know, sticking band logos all over things, and I'm just, oh, look, everything's a bit sinister and evil. What could be more evil when you're 16 than this thing? Morbid Angel, Domination. Sure, we could talk about if this is the best Morbid Angel or not. Most will say it's not. I won't say it is either. But that cover artwork, man, I've always loved it. And it's kind of just a hodgepodge of things. It's not like it's brilliant stuff. It's a pretty obvious symmetry thing going on there of this, like a demonic, I don't know, cave something going on there with a purple sky and a massive purple pentagram down the bottom. And that's what sold it to me, was this ridiculous pentagram at the bottom. And you see me as a 15-year-old picking up going, so evil, must buy, and of course I did. And yeah, for that reason, it's in my top 10. It's just fantastic. I love it. Now, it's unclear who did this. I looked it up on a few places, and it's got listed Dan Muro and Dan Quattrochi, both listed as layout and photography. Now, I don't know what that means. There's photos here. Maybe that was that. There's no clear signature on here. Maybe it was just things they've assembled together. Really not sure who put this together. And it gets more confusing too, because the LP edition is completely different artwork. It's got the pentagram and it's got some of the things, but it's like taken from a different angle. I think it's far inferior. I had it on a shirt. I don't know, I never liked the LP cover of it. It looked too sparse. It just didn't feel right. This feels right, particularly when you combine it with the bright green CD. The whole thing, where the slime live indeed. There's some more of it on the back there actually, so you can see some of that symmetry again, all mixes in. So yeah, probably not anyone else's pick, but this is always just drawn. I've just been drawn to this thing since I was 16 and picking up for the first time going, man, that is evil. Morbid Angel, Domination. Next one's an absolute classic, again from another classic artist. Had to have this one in here. This is Sepultura with Beneath the Remains. Ah, man, I love this artwork. It is in fact currently the desktop wallpaper on my computer at home, so I see it every single day as I'm working away. Michael Whelan did the artwork on this one. He also did the classic Obituary, Cause of Death. Everybody knows the story about how the Cause of Death artwork was meant to be the artwork here, and then something happened, not too sure what happened, but didn't happen, and Beneath the Remains got this artwork instead, which I think is absolutely fantastic, because we get to see both artworks on metal covers. What I love about this, it's such a mix of, you've got death and decay of this skull, but then you've got flowers growing out of it, new life, and you've got this creature it's like a Tasmanian devil or something in the middle. Just ridiculous. And the whole thing is just fantastic done. It's just pure orange. There's like an explosion here, a bit of brain or something, and smoke coming out. I love this one. Yeah, so Michael Whelan also did pretty much all the Sirith Ungol covers, which you can sort of see some of that in here. But he also did the second Demolition album, Epidemic of Violence. So there you go. That's the second time I get to mention Demolition Hammer in this video. Sepultura, Beneath the Remains. Last one I'm going to take a look at. Also knew I was going to get this in here, and it's I think people might be wondering why I would pick this particular album from this band. There was some more Seagrave I could have picked. There's some other ones I could have picked as well, but this is another from my youthful days. I'm 16 and I pick up the cover and go, that is immense. Let's talk about Suffocation, Pierced from Within. Take this one out again. The old case is pretty scuffed up since I've had it for so long. There's the artwork there. You got to really dig yourself into this one. It's quite dark with a bright yellow logo that really offsets all the blues and the blacks. But yeah, I love this thing. It is my favorite Suffocation artwork. Hiro Takahashi, hopefully I'm saying that right, he's credited for doing this one, and he's not credited for doing many things at all in the archives. The most notable things I could find was Sorrow's Hatred and Disgust album, and Roadrunner's At Death's Door 2 compilation. You can see, particularly in that compilation, a lot of similarities to this, but other than that, I don't know, maybe he just didn't do metal stuff, so I can't find it. Maybe he did other things, but yeah, definitely not so much here. So not sure how Suffocation got a hold of him. But anyway, love this thing. You've got like a... I always thought of it like a demonic train track. Like you've got this track here that's got like bones used as a railway. That's what I always thought about this. And you got some just... I don't know. There's just so much going on this one. Creature thing here is like, is it a person that's strung up? I'm not too sure, but they're being pierced from within. You can damn well guarantee that. These clouds and whatever's going on there, the whole thing for me just really, really works on this one, Pierced from Within. Yeah, so that's my number 10 pick there, Suffocation, Pierced from Within. So that's my top 10 and a few extras at the front there to talk about. Obviously, as I said, this is just my top 10. Yours will be entirely different. I'm being very curious to hear what yours is, or even better yet, see what yours is. If you do a response video, make sure you tag Andy Cloudy Milder. He's the one that started this. And remember that the rules are hard rock or heavy metal album covers that are not Iron Maiden. So, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, check out that thing and that thing. I'll see you all next time.